At the last
Nobody owns my
excuse
vote.
me, your time. At the last candidate forum, I noticed there were a lot of questions about contracts, and we also have in the contract with CAL FIRE, and I've also got several questions here. So I'm going to combine a little bit on those questions. I'm going to alter the order in which the candidates speak, so they will have, it's strictly random. I've just worked out a little grid here, so I'm going to, each candidate will have 1 minute to address each question. So there's a question about CAL FIRE and the level and quality of services provided, and this questioner is saying they're concerned about the level and quality of services regardless of who provides them, and they have heard that CAL FIRE failed to meet the contract in providing services. Do you have some specific examples of how they have or have not provided service? And let's start with, let's see, Mr. Olifano.
Thank you. Absolutely. The fire marshals. It's a civil one. It happened right in front of me. No one told me about this. I watched it happen. I watched the chief, Chief Ferreira, move Battalion Chief Clayton Jolly to the other side of the hill without a replacement. The board told him, don't do it. The board urged him to replace him first, cross-train them, so at least the new person replacing him would understand what currently was on the plate. He said at the board, he'll be working on it. Well, guess what? The next day he moved him. We would have warned him that we have a deputy fire marshal retiring at the end of the year. What are you going to do about that one? We're working on it. At that point in time, he should have reduced the contract and told us he couldn't provide it. And he didn't. We went 6 months without any fire marshals. Okay? Now we have complaints dealing with fire marshals, Medical Reserve Corps. We have issues with Seacrest School having a tough time getting response from the fire marshals. These are issues that are fire prevention related, dealing with our schools, our places of worship, our shopping centers. We need to have fire marshals, and we don't. So this is a big deal to me, and it's clearly what he didn't do.
Thank you. Mr. McIntosh, do you have any examples?
85% of our calls are medical calls. This district has long hired a special trainer that comes and provides additional training to all of our paramedic staff to make sure and try and bring them up to be the very best that are on the coast. We're privileged to currently have a number of these men that have been trained from earlier on before CAL FIRE came, and hopefully will stay on after CAL FIRE leaves. One of the problems, though, is that CAL FIRE's rotation of people in and out, the large number of vacations that they take, and the fact that the people can be replaced here from anywhere within the San Mateo or Santa Clara County doesn't make the people bad at all. It just makes them not available for the training when the training needs to be done. It's a simple matter of numbers. If you're not here, you can't get trained.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. And Mr. Riddell.
Same thing along the lines of fire prevention. Whether it was in our contract or not, CAL FIRE has an obligation under the California Fire Code to provide business inspections, and that's state law. It didn't have to be specified in a contract. We have over 800 businesses that have to be inspected. 250 of those have to be done every year, and the remainder have to be done every other year. And you can refer to the grand jury report on this one, that they were doing 130, 140 a year. Well, the bare minimum they should have been doing is around 400, and that's required under state law, whether it was in our contract or not. EMTs. We've had EMTs in this county for 20 years that I know of. I took EMT training in 1975. We had that in the contract. CAL FIRE wasn't giving us EMTs, they were giving us first responders, which is a lower level of training. First responders get approximately 25 hours, EMTs are 120 hours of training. Cliff.
Thank you. 1 minute is not a very long time. These are very complicated questions, sorry. Ms. Anderson, I guess you can maybe speak to examples of how they may have provided service.
This whole notion that CAL FIRE is not living up to their contract is hogwash. All of the things that they are pointing out are administrative. They have not affected the care and attention that you, as the voters, need to receive. The fact that there wasn't a fire marshal here, what was the impact of that? Was anyone injured because there was not a fire marshal here? That is the only example I have ever heard them make of what actually they have not done in the contract. It's little nitpicky things. It's nothing about when I call 911, as I have done, do they come and take me to the hospital? Yes, they do. And since he said 85% of the calls are medical, having a fire marshal, is that really a good reason to get rid of the group that has been taking care of us for a reasonable amount of money and professionally for the last 5 years? I think not.
Thank you. And finally, Mr. McKissick.
Okay, let's refresh the question. We want to hear about levels of service.
Levels, this questioner is concerned with the level and quality of service provided, regardless of who provides them.
Yeah, okay, well, like I'll tell you a story. I've been walking the precincts. I've been studying the ground truth precisely as they keep bringing up. And besides having almost unanimous questioning of me of, well, let's keep CAL FIRE. How do I do it? Am I going to be sure if I vote for you, will you keep CAL FIRE? Besides that, I've been also looking for somebody could tell me what happened to the old fire department and how did the fighting get started that turned it into such a tragic organization. I found a guy that told me the story, and it illuminates something behind this local control stuff, and it's try and get to that story when we get a chance to talk about what's this meddling with local control? Why is it so important to them?
Thank you.